The bell over the door once announced an entire Saturday. Polished floors, perfume counters, popcorn machines, and a lunch counter grill hissing behind a row of spinning stools. Tonight, we are counting down 20 vanished chains that shaped ordinary American shopping streets in the 1950s. Department stores, five and dimes, drugstores, and catalog counters all had their own rituals. And a number 91 store offered something no modern retailer would dare put on the shelf today. The five and dime was where small money still felt powerful. At number 20, S.S. Kresge gave shoppers neat aisles, bargain counters, housewares, stationery, candy, and seasonal decorations at prices that made a quick stop feel worthwhile. Its disciplined discount habits later pointed toward a much larger future, Kmart. At number 19, W.T. Grant was another Main Street regular. Families went there for towels, toys, kitchen basics, school supplies, and the kind of store credit that let a household stretch a paycheck. For decades, that trust kept Grant close to everyday life until debt and competition helped push it into bankruptcy in the 1970s. At number 18, Ben Franklin's stores kept the local version alive. Many were independently run, so the store could feel personal. Sewing notions near the counter, candy for children, notebooks before school started. Then the pressure arrived. Suburban shopping centers offered parking, space, and bigger stores. Discount chains sold more under one roof, and the old small format five and dime began to look cramped. McCrory's belonged to the kind of downtown where errands could fill a Saturday morning. Shoppers came in for sewing notions, greeting cards, stockings, lunch counter coffee, and holiday displays that changed with the season. For many families, it was not just a store. It was a meeting point near the bus stop, the bank, and the movie theater. J.J. Newberry made small purchases feel like an outing. Children headed for the toy aisle, teenagers drifted toward the soda fountain, and parents worked through low-price counters for dish towels, school tablets, and household odds and ends. The chain spread widely, yet each location could feel tied to its own town. G.C. Murphy had that same local pull, especially in Pennsylvania and nearby states. People remember its candy, records, housewares, and lunch counters because those departments fit ordinary routines. These stores did not disappear overnight. Downtown foot traffic thinned, malls gained the weekend crowds, and big box strips made Main Street variety stores harder to keep alive. S.H. Kress showed that a five and dime could still look grand. Many stores had polished storefronts, decorative facades, and carefully arranged counters that made inexpensive goods feel respectable. Shoppers could buy thread, candy, toys, or kitchen tools, but the building itself often felt like part of the attraction. Gimbel's moved the story into the department store world, where shopping became a public event. Its rivalry with Macy's gave New York retail a sense of theater, especially during the holidays, when window displays pulled crowds to the sidewalks. Inside, bargain floors, clothing departments, and gift counters turned one errand into an afternoon. Bonwit Teller represented a more elegant kind of store. It was tied to fashion, status, attentive salespeople, and a style of service that treated regular customers as known clients, not anonymous traffic. These names became vulnerable as city real estate grew expensive, fashion retail changed, and corporate consolidation favored chains with broader scale. The old downtown store depended on location, loyalty, and spectacle, and each became harder to maintain. Montgomery Ward belonged to the age when the catalog could put a department store on a farmhouse table. Its pages sold clothing, tools, furniture, and appliances to families who might live hours from a major shopping street. In many towns, the store became the physical version of that promise, with refrigerators, washing machines, radios, and household goods under one roof. That strength weakened when shopping habits moved faster than the catalog. Cars made regional stores reachable, suburbs pulled customers toward malls, and credit changed how families bought big-ticket items. Competitors built sharper appliance departments and more modern retail systems, while Montgomery Ward struggled to keep its old mail-order identity useful. A&P had once been just as powerful in groceries. Shoppers remembered 8 o'clock coffee, house brands, and small neighborhood stores where clerks knew the weekly routine. But larger supermarkets, better distribution, and changing food habits chipped away at the chain's dominance. Then came Sears, the giant that sold almost everything: tools, tires, dresses, washing machines, and even kit houses through its catalog. If a company that woven into American home life could decline, no retailer was untouchable. By the late 20th century, the new routine was not a catalog on the kitchen table. It was a Saturday drive to the mall or the discount store. Kmart had the rhythm many families knew by heart. Blue light specials flashing in the aisle, layaway desks for Christmas gifts, cafeterias for a cheap meal, and garden centers that made spring shopping feel like an event. It was practical, familiar, and everywhere. But Walmart built a stronger supply system. Target looked cleaner and sharper, and Kmart became trapped between price and presentation. Mervyn's filled a different lane. It sold affordable family clothing in the mall with enough department store polish to feel respectable and enough discounts to feel sensible. That middle position grew dangerous when stronger department stores improved promotions and cheaper chains pulled shoppers away. Service merchandise made shopping feel almost futuristic. Customers chose from displays, wrote down item numbers, and waited while purchases arrived from the back on a conveyor system. The process was memorable, but memory was not enough. Once competitors made shopping faster and more flexible, the novelty became friction. Woolworths was never just a place to buy thread, toys, or a goldfish bowl. Families remember the lunch counter, the toy aisle, parakeets chirping near the back, and banana splits served in glass dishes. But its counter also carries a deeper history. In 1960, the Greensboro sit-ins turned an ordinary store fixture into a national symbol of the civil rights movement. Howard Johnson's gave the road its own routine. The orange roof meant clean restrooms, fried clams, predictable dinners, and an ice cream list long enough to make children study it like homework. For traveling families, that consistency made a highway stop feel both safe and special. Tom Mackin turned shoe buying into a seasonal ceremony. Children climbed onto foot-measuring stools, parents checked for growing room, and back-to-school shoes came home in crisp boxes. As malls changed and discount retailers expanded, standalone shoe chains lost their place. What connected these stores was not just merchandise. They gave families repeated rituals, and rituals are what people quote decades later. A big downtown department store could take over an entire Saturday. At Jordan Marsh in Boston, or stores like Hudson's, Lazarus, Rich's, and Kaufman's, families arrived dressed for the trip, rode escalators like attractions, and planned lunch in the store dining room before visiting the bakery, toy floor, or Christmas windows. The store worked like a small city. A clerk wrote your receipt by hand, sent payment through a pneumatic tube or overhead wire system, and your change came back from a cashier you never saw. Gift wrap had its own counter. Salespeople knew china patterns, glove sizes, school uniforms, and which elevator stopped closest to children's shoes. These names vanished slowly, then all at once. Mergers folded regional chains into larger companies. Downtown shopping moved to malls, then malls lost ground to discount stores and national brands. Local signs were replaced, departments were trimmed, lunchrooms closed, and the bakery box with the familiar logo became a memory. And that leaves one final question. What happens when the store everyone knew best finally goes dark? The final store is the one people still type first, Woolworth. And for many families, its discount-era cousin, Woolco. Woolworth had the lunch counter, the parakeets, the sewing notions, the candy bins, the school supplies, and the toy aisle that made a small allowance feel powerful. It was where parents used layaway, where clerks stamped receipts, and where a Saturday errand could turn into a grilled cheese, a milkshake, and a look at Christmas decorations before heading home. Woolco was the company's answer to a changing country. Bigger parking lots, suburban shoppers, lower prices, wider aisles, and a push to compete with Kmart, Target, and Walmart. For a while, it worked. Then the math changed. Debt, weak locations, supply problems, and brutal discount competition caught up with it. Woolco closed in the United States in 1983. Woolworth lasted longer, but the five-and-dime world had already faded. What remains is not a business model. It is the memory of a place where everyone in town seemed to pass through the same doors. When those doors closed, America lost more than counters and price tags. It lost Saturday routines, squeaky floors, popcorn smell, paper bags, familiar clerks, and the small places where families ran into neighbors. Thank you for watching. Write the story your parents or grandparents took you to every Saturday, and subscribe for more vanished pieces of everyday American life.